So let me take you back to where we left off in part 1. By late 1916, Russia is falling apart. World War I is destroying the country. People are starving. The army is losing. And everyone, nobles, politicians, military commanders, they all blame one man. Rasputin. This dirty peasant mystic who somehow crawled his way into the royal palace and now has the Tsarina completely under his influence. People genuinely believe he's sabotaging Russia from the inside. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter. When a country is collapsing, people need someone to blame. And Rasputin is the perfect target. So Prince Felix Yusupov, one of the wealthiest and most powerful nobles in Russia, decides enough is enough. Now, I want you to picture Felix Yusupov for a second. This guy is extraordinarily rich. We're talking one of the wealthiest families in Russian history. He's young, educated, sophisticated. Everything Rasputin is not. And he absolutely despises him. So Felix puts together a small group of conspirators. Other nobles, a politician, even a member of the royal family, Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, the Tsar's own cousin. Their plan: simple. Invite Rasputin to the palace for dinner. Kill him quietly. Dispose of the body. Problem solved. They pick December 29, 1916. Felix tells Rasputin there's a beautiful woman at the palace who wants to meet him. And Rasputin, being Rasputin, falls for it immediately. Now here's where it gets dark. The conspirators spend days preparing. They get cyanide, not a little bit, but a massive amount. Enough to kill 5 grown men. They crush it and mix it into both the wine and the cakes they're going to serve him. One of the conspirators actually goes to a doctor friend to get the dosage right. The doctor says the amount they're using should kill him within minutes of the first bite. There's absolutely no way he survives this. They're so confident it's almost casual. Show up, watch him eat the poisoned food, wait 5 minutes, done. They have no idea what they're in for. December 29, 1916, midnight. Rasputin arrives at Yusupov Palace. Felix greets him warmly, smiling, welcoming, playing the perfect host. He leads Rasputin down to an ornate basement room that's been specially prepared. There's music playing, a fire burning, and on the table, wine and cakes laced with enough cyanide to kill a horse. Felix excuses himself, supposedly to check on his wife upstairs. And Rasputin, he sits down, helps himself to the cakes, and starts eating. Now, upstairs, the other conspirators are waiting. They're listening. They're expecting to hear a thud any second now. The sound of a man collapsing. But they don't hear anything. Felix goes back downstairs. Rasputin is still sitting there, perfectly fine, eating more cakes and sipping the poisoned wine. Felix watches in disbelief. Rasputin doesn't even look sick. He's chatting, commenting on the decor, asking where this beautiful woman is. Nothing is happening. An hour passes. Felix goes back upstairs. The other conspirators are confused and getting nervous. How is he not dead? Felix goes back down. He keeps Rasputin talking, buying time, trying to stay calm while internally panicking. He's fed this man enough poison to kill 5 people and he's sitting there asking for more wine. Another hour passes. At this point, one of the conspirators, a man named Vladimir Purishkevich, is pacing upstairs losing his mind. He can't understand it. The doctor said this was impossible. How is Rasputin still alive? Felix makes a decision. If the poison won't work, he'll use a gun. He borrows a revolver, goes back downstairs, and while Rasputin is distracted looking at an ornate crucifix on the wall, Felix shoots him. Point blank. In the chest. Rasputin collapses. Felix runs upstairs, tells the others it's done. They come down, check the body. Rasputin isn't moving. One of them checks his pulse. Dead. They breathe a collective sigh of relief. They start planning what to do with the body. Felix, feeling strange, goes back into the room alone to look at the body one more time. And then, I still get chills thinking about this, Rasputin's eye opens. Not both eyes, just one, slowly opening, staring directly at Felix. And then Rasputin gets up. He grabs Felix by the throat and starts screaming, Felix. Felix. I will tell the Tsarina everything. Felix tears himself free and runs upstairs screaming. Rasputin follows him, crawling, staggering, but moving, up the stairs and out into the courtyard. Can you imagine? You just watched a man get shot point blank in the chest. You checked his pulse. He was dead. And now he's chasing you through your own palace screaming your name. Purishkevich runs outside and sees Rasputin in the courtyard, still moving, trying to escape through the gate. He shoots him. Once. Misses. Shoots again. Misses again. Third shot. Hits Rasputin in the back. Rasputin stumbles but keeps moving. Fourth shot. Hits him in the head. Rasputin finally falls, face down in the snow. They rush over. He's still breathing, still moving his lips like he's trying to say something. So they beat him, with clubs, with their boots, with anything they can find. He finally stops moving. They stand there, breathing hard, staring at this broken body in the snow. 4 gunshots, poisoned food and wine, 2 hours of cyanide in his system, a beating, and it took all of that to bring him down. But they're not done yet. They still need to get rid of the body. Here's where the story goes from insane to absolutely impossible. They wrap Rasputin's body in a carpet, load it into a car, and drive to the Pevchesky Bridge over the frozen Neva River. They throw him over the railing. He breaks through the ice and disappears into the freezing black water below. Done. Finally. 3 days later, police find the body downstream. They pull it out of the river and take it for autopsy. And this is the part that haunts me most. The official autopsy, signed off by multiple doctors, documented, on record, revealed something nobody expected. The cause of death: drowning. Not the poison, not the 4 bullet wounds, not the beating. Rasputin died from drowning, meaning he was still alive when they threw him into that river. But here's what makes it even more disturbing. When they examined his hands, they were free of the ropes they'd tied around him. And on the underside of the ice above where his body was found, there were scratch marks from the inside. Rasputin, poisoned, shot 4 times, beaten within an inch of his life, thrown into a frozen river, had regained consciousness under the ice, freed his hands, and tried to claw his way back out. He was trying to survive until the very end. Let that sink in for a second. This man absorbed enough poison to kill 5 people. Survived a point-blank shot to the chest. Survived 3 more bullets. Survived a brutal beating. And then woke up under a frozen river and tried to escape. Now, there are people who say the drowning story is a myth. That some of the autopsy details were exaggerated or invented over time. And honestly, maybe some of them were. But here's what nobody disputes: the poison didn't work. He survived the first gunshot. He got back up and attacked his killer. It took 4 bullets and a beating to stop him. Even the rational explanation is insane. Remember that letter Rasputin wrote? The one I told you about in part 1. If I am killed by nobles, by boyars, then the Tsar and his family will not survive 2 years. The Russian Empire will fall. Prince Felix Yusupov and his conspirators. They were nobles, boyars, exactly who Rasputin prophesied. And here's what happened next. Within weeks of Rasputin's death, Russia erupted in revolution. The people rose up. The Tsar was forced to abdicate his throne. Exactly 14 months after Rasputin was thrown into that river, Tsar Nicholas II, Tsarina Alexandra, Tsarevich Alexei, and all 4 of the Tsar's daughters were executed by Bolshevik forces in a basement in Yekaterinburg. The entire Romanov family, gone. The Russian Empire, 300 years of Romanov rule, collapsed. Exactly as Rasputin had predicted. Now here's the question that nobody can fully answer: did Rasputin actually foresee the future? Or did he just understand Russian politics well enough to know that his death would destabilize everything? Was he a genuine prophet? A brilliant political mind? Or just the luckiest, and unluckiest, man in Russian history? I've thought about this a lot. And honestly, I don't know. What I do know is this: a Siberian peasant who couldn't read or write walked into the most powerful palace in Russia and changed the course of history. Whether that was divine power, supernatural ability, political genius, or pure coincidence, the result was the same. Russia was never the same after Rasputin. Grigory Rasputin was pulled from the Neva River on January 1, 1917. He was buried quietly. The royal family mourned him privately. The Tsarina placed an icon signed by her family in his coffin. But even in death, Rasputin couldn't stay gone. When the revolution came, Bolshevik soldiers exhumed his body and burned it, terrified that his grave would become a shrine. According to witnesses, as his body burned, the heat caused his muscles to contract and he sat up in the flames. People screamed and ran. Some of them never recovered from what they saw. And you know what? I kind of understand why. Because here's the truth about Rasputin, we can explain most of what he did with logic and reason. The healing was probably psychological. The prophecies were probably educated guesses. The poison possibly degraded or was given in wrong doses. But all of that explaining, it somehow makes him more fascinating, not less. Because this was just a man. A regular human being from a Siberian village who had no education, no money, no title. And yet he almost single-handedly brought down an empire. And when they finally managed to kill him, they had to do it twice. Rasputin, the man who wouldn't die. I don't know about you, but that's the kind of story that keeps me up at night.